Hey people, that last movie I posted got my best retention rate yet, so don't miss it. It's a good one. And I made some promises in it that I was going to prove that the Book of Job was written by ancient American sailors. But I got sidetracked. But I'm going to work my way. I'm going to try to get there in this movie. But I found some stuff y'all really going to like. If you ever been to church, you'll see the preacher, he'll read a verse or a couple, and then he'll try to explain it to you and make sense of it because it makes no sense. And he'll pick out one word to get the meaning of it, to make sense of it. And he pulls a definition out of this word, but he forgets to define all the other words that's been less than correctly interpreted in there. And it's really going to show in the Hebrew. And the whole line reads simple in Hebrew. This is more difficult here in the Greek. But this one word I'm going to hit you in this Greek is that day. If you just remove all of this punctuation that they added, makes this easier to read. In that day that everyone striking is a Jebusite. This is written with 4 letters in the Hebrew. The day that everyone's striking is yesterday. You think about when you go bowling, all these X's here. This isn't days gone by. These are strikes. In the morning you look at your calendar and you hash it. And then, after you checked off everything you had to do for that day, that was yesterday. You come back and wake up this morning, you finish crossing that one off. And did all your tasks. It's strike. The day that everyone's striking was yesterday. And then this just gets crazy, and let him a Jebusite, and let him touch by the dagger, and both the lame and the blind, and the ones detesting the soul of David, on account of this they shall say, blind and lame, you shall all go to hell. You're not welcome in the house of the Lord. And so it reads a little different in the Hebrew, and it's on the day that whoever defeats the Jebusite and climbs up by way of water shaft. And so this, by the way of water shaft, this is the one I want to get, It means to climb up, the way that you would of a water shaft. And the lame and the blind who are hated by the soul of David, upon thus they say, the blind and lame not shall come into the house. And there is no the Lord on this one. But this, by the way of the water shaft, this is talking about serpents. And it's the Vixener, BXN and UR. And this is where the word vixen come from, the fox. It's a mistranslation, a racy or salacious woman. But it's where the word vixer or vixer comes from. A vixer is a cowlick, and it's what it looks like when a tornado touches down in the forest and all the trees are blown around. And also the 4th reindeer of Santa Claus. But where they're getting this by the way of the water shaft is from the well. And it was a spiral staircase down the well. And when they were out in the desert, when it gets hot, it looks like this, and the snakes crawling up in here. But by the way of the well is this spiraling motion down. You see it represented here by the serpent and the spiral down and the steps on his back. And so when I read this in the Hebrew, and just reading it the one direction without reading other direction markings, I seen it was talking about several different things. And why go vixen where? Or who go vixen where? And who goes vixen where? That means that spiral, the vixer, the vixen, and it's the vixen where is what's at where the vixen is, at the well. It's snakes, Snakes love to go down in the well shaft. And what they're doing down there is who go the vixen where what? The fish'em. Down there fishing. The FSHIM, the fish'em. The vixen where the fish'em. And so it's fishing down in the water shaft. And so the vixen, when you're fixing to cast a spell, That's that spiral motion. You take your broom and you dehex the pot. You get any lost spirits out of the pot before you start brewing up your spell. And so, the Vixenware is now your magic wand, the Vixenware. That's why you see all the old politicians carry a magic wand, it's for the Vixenware. You stick your wand in the pot and you make this spiral motion before you cast your spell to clean them spirits out. And your wand was a little broom, a bunch of herbs that you would tie together to dehex the pot. And why go Vixenware with the fish'em? And so it's different here in the Greek. That day everyone is striking the Jebusite and let him touch the dagger. And so this is another piece of your magic equipment. But I didn't read all this to put it in context, but it was pretty easy to see that this is the Latin inscription on the statue of David. And this is and yammer and yammered, Y-A-M-R apostrophe D, and yammered, and this is where your word hammer come from. Back in the day, they used to hammer these words into the stone. And so, and yammered, and then it's telling from here on what's cut into the stone there. Would vivum high vacillum see. And so vivum, is viva, long live. Vivum high, long live. The vacillum see, and the vassal, that's where, this is the life connected power, and it's the royalty, the vacillum see. And the vacillum is, and the life connected power, to select, CL. That's where your word call, to eat. The first, the life connected power, call, to select from C. And whoever defeats, they're gonna vive them. They'll live from the royal, like the royals, high from the occultist. You eat first, and from C. And a busy is could be better interpreted by a painter, a decorator. Oh, that's too busy, too much going on there. A busy who go Vixenware, is a lot, busy, a lot of, and a lot of who go Vixenware. What's the fish'em? And they going down to the water well to do their fishing, and that's where you found the girls, at the Vixenware. What the whorums know when fished would all. What the whorum, and so this is the hours, but the whore, she works on the hour. That's why the same word, what the hour, H-O-U-R, or the whorum. What the whorum, the whorums, apostrophe S, the whorums know, or the whorums knew when fished would all. And the blind are hated by the soul of David. They're hated because everybody know there was a whorums know when fished would all. Oh, she would just go fish with anybody. And being that this was in Latin up there, this is the Senya More. A Senora and a Senya Maria and a Senya More vour, of V-O-U-R, to devour, to eat up. And Senya More vour, and fish lay in. The fish lay in, and then the double A here, the first one turns into an I. And I learned this from the Egypt. But this is the vial, the bite. And the vial, the bite. This is official. And so he's down there vaccinating the whores. And this is why the serpents represented the doctors, because they've been vaccinating people a long damn time. You know, it was carved in the statue up on the pillar, and yammered and hammered it in stone and yammered. You know, the hammer, when it's talking about and he defeated all of them with the jawbone of an ass. Well, that's a bunch of words that rhyme with hammer and yammer, and that's where that comes from. Your jawbone, yeah, and the yammer is your jawbone, and it's the hammer. You know, your skull is the anvil, and your jawbone is the hammer, the yammer. And yammered would vivum high vacillum see. Make busy who go the vexen where. What the fishing down at the well. What the whorums know when fished would all senya more vour. The senya more vour. She eats off, and you see the canny in there, K9, and the senya more vour. Officially in vile the bite. So he could be a government man officially in a vial the bite, and down there taking serum from the snake, collecting snake venom. So when I first read this, it looked like royalty, the son of the royal or the king. You know, the high vacillency. You know, somebody high up in the royal family. And yammered would vivum, would livum. And the second E here I'm reading as an I. That's why I'm reading it as high. In the high vacillency. Ya busy, who go vexen where, what the fishum. And going down to where all the girls are going to get the water, they're vexen where. They're going down the spiral. And so, you know, the vexen is not the well, it's the motion of going down the well. It's the motion of a tornado, of a whirlpool. And you're busy, you go a lot, you know, and yammered would vivum, would livum high vacillum see. Of the royal family, you're busy, a lot you go. Vexen where what the fishum, what the whorums know and fished would all. The whore that gives it up easy. Senya more vour. You know, the senorita of the more vours, the more eats the men. And senya more vour, officially in vile the bite. And so this is also an ancient way of thinning out the population, you know, and give the whore the disease and she'll spread it. The Jews were famous for sending their women into war, send the women in the front line, send the smallpox out ahead of you. You know, the milkmaids were all immune to it. And so in the Greek it's hyped, and that's where your word typed comes from. And it's cut into stone, and hyped of it. You know, the D and the T interchange. I'll show that again somewhere here. And hyped of it, you know, and put the information out, and hyped of it. In the comer a slain. And in the come her, and the AE becomes the ES. And the KE becomes the LE. And so this is a ESLEIN. And so it's the dead, you know, and hyped of it in the comer the slain, the statue for all the fallen, and comer the slain, passed up on, the ones that were passed by. Ye vows say on. You know, to your loyalty, your vow say on. And of test, the test to, let him touch. When you go see the doctor, you know, and he sees a red spot, and he gives it a test by touching it to see. He doesn't ask you, does it hurt? He just pokes it. Let him touch. Of test to N. Go ahead and poke it with your finger. Of test to N. Paracipity. In a para, that's a scrape. That's where a pear and knife come from. A para. A scrape. And at sepid. The sepid. It's sepid. It's septic. And that's how they transferred smallpox. A scrape and a pus. And paracipity. And of test in a paracipity. What of a school, the SCHOL, to a school whose, what of a stoop, an idiot, a stupulus, to a school whose, what to stupulus, and teach them something, the lame and the blind, the one that don't see it, and a school of whose, what to stupulus, and teach the idiot something, and what to submiss of want as, and they submit to their wants, and they're going to learn. And then such in divide, dia, through the taught, and the OE, the E becomes the vav, the U, and taught to wear, of sea to ploy, which alloy, which all call, which all loy, of key solution to ya, they so icon cure you. The icon of cure you is that serpent on the staff. And so you see this often in the Greek and the Hebrew. The words aren't replaceable. They'll switch it up. But this, the icon to cure you, the serpent on the staff, it's that spiral. By the way of the water shaft, the Vixen wear, that spiral. Why go Vixen wear what officium? The officials. And so it seems to be about Dr. Fauci. And you see that again in the book of Job. And I don't believe I'll get to it in this movie. It's getting too long. I got a couple more verses I want to back through and show you before I get back to the book of Job there. So I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.